Listen closely, because once you hear this, you will never look at attraction the same way again. There is something younger women do. Something quiet, something subtle, something 99% of older men never notice, that completely changes the entire dynamic between them. It's not flirting, it's not obvious interest, and it's definitely not chasing. It's a psychological signal so powerful that once you learn to see it, you'll realize how many opportunities you've missed simply because you were blind to the language women actually use. I'm about to expose the one behavior younger women show only when they're waiting for an older man to make a move. Not when they're bored, not when they're being nice, but when they are genuinely, undeniably drawn to your presence and hoping you will step forward before they quietly walk away. You think you know what attraction looks like. You think you understand when a woman is interested. But younger women operate on an entirely different frequency, and if you don't understand that frequency, you will misread everything. You will think she's being friendly. You will tell yourself she's just being polite. You will convince yourself she's too young, too busy, or too out of your league. And while you're doubting yourself, she's watching you, waiting to see if you're the man she sensed you might be, or just another older guy who doesn't recognize his own value. What I'm about to reveal will either wake you up or make you realize why every connection that could have been something more slipped through your hands. So if you're ready to finally understand the truth younger women will never say out loud, stay right here. Don't blink. Don't click off. Because the moment you understand this, your entire perception of how attraction actually works will change forever. When a younger woman is genuinely interested in an older man, she rarely expresses it in the ways you're used to seeing. She doesn't walk up and announce her feelings. She doesn't throw obvious signals. And she doesn't chase him the way she might chase a boy her age. Instead, something far more subtle happens, something rooted in biology, psychology, and the deep feminine instinct to move toward what feels emotionally safe. She becomes present. Not loud, not flirtatious, present. And this presence is not random. It is a deliberate shift in her energy that only appears when she feels a man has something rarer, something she wants to understand more closely. You'll notice it in the way she gives you her attention. Younger women today are conditioned to be overstimulated, constantly scrolling, constantly distracted, constantly half listening. But around a man who brings maturity, emotional control, and grounded energy, her entire nervous system recalibrates. She leans into the moment, she listens, she slows her internal pace to match yours. She's not doing this to be polite. She's doing it because your presence alters her internal state. You make her feel safer. You make the interaction feel more meaningful. She senses something stable in you that she doesn't find in men her age, who are often restless, inconsistent, or unsure of themselves. A younger woman's presence is her first signal of attraction, because presence is the most valuable currency in her world. It means she is allowing you into her emotional space. That alone is monumental. She is not observing you casually. She is studying your mannerisms, the cadence of your voice, the tone of your reactions. She's noticing the pauses between your words. And what she's really looking for is this: does this man make me feel calm or confused? Does he make me feel grounded or anxious? Does he hold himself with the kind of confidence that can anchor me, or is he floating through life just like everyone else? When she is interested, she starts adjusting to your rhythm. If you speak slowly, she softens. If you remain measured and composed, she mirrors that. If you maintain eye contact, she doesn't shy away. This is not accidental behavior. It is a feminine response to masculine stability. She feels the difference between a man who is older and a man who is steady. Many older men assume their age alone is what attracts younger women, but age without presence is just a number. It is your grounded energy, your clarity, your emotional maturity that creates the gravitational pull. The tragedy is that most older men are blind to these subtle shifts. They dismiss her presence as friendliness. They convince themselves that she only sees them as a mentor, a father figure, or a safe conversational partner. They misinterpret her softness as politeness. And because of that, they miss the doorway she's opening. They miss the moment she subtly leans in. They miss the way she starts initiating small interactions just to be in your orbit. They miss the way she becomes selectively available when it's you. They miss the spark in her eyes when you speak from a place of authority, not arrogance. They miss the fact that she is signaling interest in the most feminine, quiet, non-verbal language attention. Her attention is not given lightly. Younger women today guard their emotional energy tightly, but when she begins investing that energy into you, when she remembers the details you share, listens deeply, engages thoughtfully, she's showing you something men her age rarely notice. She values your mind. She values your presence. She values the experience she feels when she's around you. She is testing whether your consistency matches your charisma, whether you are emotionally available or emotionally walled off, whether you lead with intention or hide behind hesitation. But here's the deeper psychological truth. She is not just observing you, she is observing how she feels around you. A man who calms her nervous system becomes instantly more attractive. A man who speaks with certainty becomes magnetic. A man who listens before responding activates trust. And a man who stands confidently in his identity, without the need to impress, awakens her curiosity. When she feels that internal shift, she becomes present because she is drawn to the possibility of safety and depth. Presence is the feminine equivalent of pursuit. It is subtle, elegant, and intentional. It is her way of saying, I am open to you, without ever breaking her own dignity. She doesn't need to say it. Her energy says it for her. And if you're an older man who can't recognize that, you will continue missing out on connections with women who were quietly waiting for you to notice them. Because the truth is simple. Younger women don't waste presence on men they don't value. When she gives you her attention, she's giving you an opportunity. When she becomes present, she's revealing interest. And when you feel that shift, you are either going to rise into the steady, intentional man she believes you are, or you are going to let the moment pass and teach her that she misread you entirely. A younger woman's presence is the first door she opens. Your awareness is the key. Recognize it, respect it, and act on it before the moment slips into something she forgets. When a younger woman is drawn to an older man, she begins studying him in a way that is almost invisible unless you understand the psychology behind attraction. She's not just observing you, she's mirroring you. She watches how you sit, how you speak, how you react to pressure, and how you carry yourself when no one is performing. And slowly, without announcing her intention, she begins to sync her emotional energy with yours. This mirroring is not manipulation, it's instinct. It's her subconscious way of testing whether you are truly grounded or simply older. You see, it's easy for a man to look confident for a moment. Anyone can fake composure in a short interaction. But masculine stability is not a performance, it's a rhythm. And she pays attention to that rhythm. When she slows her voice to match yours, she's not just copying you. She's checking whether your calmness is natural or forced. When she holds eye contact instead of breaking it, she's testing whether your gaze is anchored or anxious. When she leans in during deeper conversations, she's evaluating whether your emotional presence remains steady or shifts under intimacy. She mirrors you because she wants to know, does this man's energy stay consistent or does it crumble? Younger women have been around men their age who are unpredictable, emotionally fragile, easily triggered, or desperate for validation. They know what instability feels like. They know what insecurity looks like. They know how inconsistency erodes trust. So when she encounters an older man, she is not fascinated by the age gap. She's fascinated by the possibility of steadiness. and she mirrors you to understand whether your steadiness is real or imagined. When you speak, she notices whether your words are shaped by clarity or ego. If you're grounded, she becomes softer, she allows herself to relax into your presence. If you're insecure, she tightens, becomes guarded, and pulls back. Her body responds to your emotional state more accurately than her mind. She feels your inner landscape before she interprets it logically. That's why you can't fake groundedness with a younger woman who is genuinely interested. She senses the cracks long before you speak them. Her mirroring also reveals something deeper about feminine psychology. Women respond to leadership, not dominance, but direction. And a younger woman wants to see if your direction is stable. She studies how you handle uncertainty. Do you overact? Do you freeze? Do you get defensive? Or do you stay composed and intentional? Emotional stability is the currency that separates a man she admires from a man she simply enjoys talking to, and mirroring is her method of discovering whether you possess that stability. A younger woman aligns with your pace to see if it's a rhythm she can trust. If you rush, she feels unsafe. If you hesitate excessively, she feels unsure. If you fluctuate emotionally, she withdraws. But when you move through the world with quiet confidence, she mirrors it because her feminine energy naturally gravitates toward masculine certainty. She wants to feel that your presence brings clarity, not chaos, and her mirroring is her way of signaling, I am open to following your lead, if your lead is worth following. But here's where most men fail. They misinterpret her mirroring as compliance or innocence. They assume she is just being agreeable. They assume she is being polite. They don't realize she is evaluating them far more deeply than any conversation reveals. She is trying to see the man behind the image, the truth behind the surface. Because for her, attraction is not about the moment, it's about the emotional environment you create. If she mirrors you and feels more confident, more calm, more emotionally open, she invests further. If she mirrors you and feels anxiety, tension, or insecurity, she quietly steps back. A younger woman doesn't need a man who is older. She needs a man who is centered. She needs emotional consistency. She needs strength that is not loud but felt. She needs presence that doesn't collapse under pressure, and she mirrors you because she wants to understand whether you are emotionally self-led or emotionally dependent on validation, approval, or constant reassurance. If you want to know whether a younger woman is interested, pay attention to how she shifts around you. If her voice softens, if her pace slows, if her eyes stay on you longer, if her body becomes more relaxed in your presence, she is mirroring your groundedness. That mirroring is her way of telling you she feels safe with who you are. And safety is the foundation of feminine attraction. But that mirroring comes with a silent expectation. If she adjusts to your energy, she expects you to hold that energy. If she aligns with your calmness, she expects you not to break it. If she opens emotionally, she expects you not to retreat. She's not looking for perfection, she's looking for consistency, and consistency only exists when a man has mastered his inner world. A younger woman's mirroring is not just a sign of attraction, it's an invitation for alignment. It is her subconscious way of saying, if you are truly this man, I can meet you where you are. So the question becomes simple when she mirrors your stability. Do you stay stable, or do you break under the weight of your own doubt? Your answer will tell her everything she needs to know. When a younger woman becomes consistently attentive to an older man, what she's really doing is opening a window of opportunity. She's not chasing him, but she's making space for him. She's giving him time, energy, emotional openness. Things younger women do not give freely, especially to someone they see purely as a friend. But this space she creates is not endless. It's conditional. It's built on the expectation that he will eventually step into the masculine role she is leaving subtly available for him. And the moment he hesitates, the moment he becomes uncertain or overly cautious, the entire dynamic changes. because what she is really attracted to isn't the age difference. It's the decisiveness that is supposed to come with it. Younger women are not drawn to older men because of the number of years they've lived. They're drawn to the sense of certainty, direction, and emotional steadiness that older men are expected to have developed. But when she sees that the man she was quietly interested in is unsure of himself, when he overthinks instead of acting, when he tiptoes around his own desire, she feels a subtle shift inside herself. The spark dims, not because she stopped liking him, but because she stopped trusting his ability to lead. This loss of trust is silent, internal, and irreversible if the man doesn't understand why it happened. Younger women don't wait forever because, at a psychological level, the feminine instinct is wired to respond to clarity. She needs to feel that the man she invests her attention in knows what he wants and moves with intention. When you hesitate, you unintentionally communicate that you don't trust your own value. And if you don't trust your value, she won't trust your leadership. Attraction is not just emotional, it's neurological. When a woman feels uncertainty from a man, her brain shifts from openness to self-protection. She closes slightly, even if she doesn't show it on the surface. You might think you're being respectful by waiting for the right moment, or by overanalyzing every detail, but what you're really doing is creating doubt. Younger women are used to men who are indecisive, passive, or emotionally inconsistent. And when she chooses to open a door for you, through her presence, her mirroring, her attention, she expects you to show that you are not like them, that you are decisive, that you see the opportunity, that you can hold tension without collapsing into fear, that you don't need perfect conditions to move. Decisiveness is not about rushing, it's about clarity. It's about making your intention known in a grounded, confident way. When she senses that confidence, she relaxes into the connection. She becomes even more open. She becomes more emotionally invested. But when she senses hesitation, she interprets it as emotional instability, because to her, hesitation reflects uncertainty, and uncertainty reflects insecurity. And insecurity is one of the most unattractive energies a man can bring into any dynamic, especially with a younger woman who looked up to him. And here's the part most men never understand: she is not waiting for you to be perfect. She's waiting for you to be sure. When you hesitate, she doesn't think you're being thoughtful. She thinks you're scared. She doesn't think you're avoiding being too forward. She thinks you don't believe in your own capability to lead. And femininity does not expand for a man who shrinks. This is why younger women move on quickly. Not because they're impatient, but because their attraction is tied directly to emotional security. The longer you stay in hesitation, the more she loses confidence in your role in her life. And once that confidence is gone, no amount of chasing, convincing, or explaining can rebuild what you lost. She wasn't waiting for effort, she was waiting for certainty. You might think the moment you finally decide to act is the moment she will respond. But often, by the time a hesitant man decides to move, the woman has already emotionally checked out. She already concluded that he wasn't who she hoped he was. Not because he lacked value, but because he lacked decisiveness. And decisiveness is the gatekeeper of masculine presence. So when a younger woman gives you her attention, when she creates emotional space, when she shows consistency, understand that she is not sending mixed signals. She is giving you the clearest signal she can give without sacrificing her femininity. She is telling you, in the most respectful, quiet, powerful way, the next move is yours. The question is whether you recognize that moment, or whether you let it slip through your fingers because you're too caught in your mind to step into your role. The men who win in these dynamics are not the ones who are the most attractive or the most experienced. They're the ones who move with intention. They don't rush. They don't force. They simply declare their direction through grounded action. A younger woman will open the door, but she will not walk through it for you. Once she sees you standing still, she walks away, not loudly, not angrily, quietly. And by the time you realize what happened, she's already gone emotionally. A woman's patience is not a guarantee. It is a test. And a man's hesitation is not caution. It is the death of possibility. If she creates space for you, step into it. Because time does not kill attraction, indecision does.